Okay. Now I gave you the worksheet for 7.3, and there were how many worksheets I gave you? 2 or 3?
There was a couple of them.
I got refer to my source here.
7.3,
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C. All right. So those are due
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, that way you can give us the keys and we have them.
Okay, that's right. All right. So they're due Thursday because it's on your test. It's on your test Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the study guide. What's the last section of the study guide?
7-4-8.
7.4a. Okay.
We will need that one. Back Thursday also.
No, you have to turn that in Tuesday.
What about
All right. So
keys?
7.4a.
What about keys for studying?
If you turn it in Thursday, you'll get the key. All right, 7.4a. Let's see what that looks like. See how old this is. All right, so let's talk about these. This part is 7.4. So 7.4. Remember when you left Thursday, I said make sure you can do 7.3 because you need to know that in order to be able to do 7.4. So 7.4 is where you're going to start adding and subtracting rational expressions with unlike denominators. All right, so adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Okay, all right. So let's look at this one. Suppose we had, this would be number 6 on page 476. So we have 14 divided by 3x squared plus 6 divided by x. So I want to add those two fractions. Now remember, in order to add fractions, the denominators have to be the same. These denominators are not the same. Okay? But remember the previous section, so you have to find the LCD. In the previous section, though, you had a problem look like this. And you're asked to find the least common denominator. What will be the least common denominator from the previous section? See, this part here is from the previous section.
3x squared.
Y'all agree it's 3x squared? Remember, look at the coefficient. What's this coefficient right here?
3.
What's this coefficient right here?
1.
So what's the LCD of 3 and 1? 3. What's the factor? What's the other factor right here? X. How many x's occur here? 2. How many x's occur here?
1.
How many do you need?
2.
2. So what's the LCD?
3x squared.
3x squared. So that discussion was from the previous section, 7.3. Now remember, one other thing that you did with the previous section was you found equivalent fractions. So that's the next thing you got to do. So the first step one would be to factor the denominators.
Right.
And here, since they're monomials, you can't really factor. Step 2 is to find the LCD. Step 3 is to write equivalent fractions. And then step 4 is to add or subtract and simplify. Okay, so we didn't do step 1 here because those are monomials. 3x squared is a monomial, x is a monomial. We did find the LCD, so the LCD, the smallest expression that those denominators go into is 3x squared. So now we're going to do step 3. Now remember, compare that to the previous section. Hopefully you went back and you reviewed it like I asked you to. So if you go back to the previous section, the next step is to write equivalent fractions. So in other words, I'm going to cover this up. So in other words, I want to rewrite this fraction with this denominator. And then I want to write this fraction using this denominator as well. So that's your next step. You're going to put. Now you have to find the numerator. Remember those one set of problems where you have to find the numerator in the previous section?
Mhm.
That's what this is. So now you can write equivalent fractions. Now remember, what do you notice about these denominators right here?
They're the same.
So the numerators have to be the same.
14.
All right, let's talk about this right here. I want to go from x to what?
Got
3x squared.
You got
So that means I got to multiply this by what?
3x,
3x.
which means you have to multiply. the
Hold on. 3x, because 3x times x is what? 3x squared. But what I do to the denominator, I have to do to the
Numerator.
numerator. So what's 6 times 3x?
18x.
All right, so that's where I'm at. Okay?
Now add something.
And now, step 4 is to add or subtract, rise one fraction. So the denominators are the same?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that goes back to the first part of 7.3. So since the denominators are the same, you just add the numerators. So this becomes,
32x.
no. They're not like terms.
18x plus 14.
18x plus 14
Over 3x squared.
over 3x squared. 18x plus 14 are not like terms, so don't say that's 32x. If that was 14x, then it would be 32x.
Wait, x. Why did that?
All right. Now, look at the numerator. Can I factor the numerator?
Yes.
Yes, but is it going to do any good?
No.
No. Because if you factor the numerator, you could take out a what? A 2.
2.
Will that 2 reduce with anything down there?
No.
No. So leave your answer alone. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Okay? So remember your steps. Step 1 is to factor. Step 2 is to find your LCD. And all that's from the previous section. Step 3 is to write equivalent fractions from the previous section. Step 4 is probably the new part. You're gonna, well, actually, you kind of did in the previous section as well, where you reduced. So this stuff here in 7.4 is really 7.3 all put together. So when you do 7.3, the worksheet, compare it to this. It's all here. That's all 7.3. All right, so that was number 6. Let's look at number 8. Number 8. Okay, look at number 8 carefully. Don't make it difficult.
You're the one writing the problem.
8 divided by x plus 4. Subtract 3 divided by 3x plus 12.
So that's a 4 down at the bottom over there?
Yes,
Yeah, x plus 4.
x plus
That
4.
was like a U.
Yes, it does, but it's a 4.
So we need.
Tell me what to do.
All right, we need common denominator. We need to have
No, factor first.
Factor first. What can I factor?
3x plus 12.
All right, how can I factor 3x plus 12?
3 times x plus 4.
All right, so I'm going to put it right here. 3 times x plus 4. All right. Now, think about the previous section. What's the first factor that's, you remember, you're looking at your denominators now. Don't worry about the numerators. Look at your denominators. What's the first factor listed in that first denominator?
1.
No.
8. Or
Huh?
the first denominator is x.
X plus 4.
Right.
X plus 4. What's the next factor listed in the next denominator?
3.
3. What's the next factor you see?
X plus
Okay,
4.
so at least you know what your factors are. That's important. All right. Let's go back. What's the first factor you see?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. How many times does x plus 4 occur here?
1.
How many times does it occur here?
1.
So I need how many x plus 4s?
1.
1. What's the next factor you see?
3.
3.
How many 3s occur here?
1.
How many occur here?
9.
How many you need?
1.
1.
3x
And then
plus
and I've already taken care of that x plus 4. So what's your LCD?
3x plus 4.
3 times
3 times
x plus 4. So all that we just talked about, we talked about last class period, section 7.3.
Mhm.
All right, so that was step 2. Step 2 was to find your LCD. What's step 3?
Common. Make them
Write
Right,
equivalent
fractions.
fractions. So that means I'm going to rewrite these denominators using the LCD.
3x.
Just like this. Just like this. So that, just write it like that. You're going to write 2 fractions with that LCD.
You have to multiply both sides.
Okay, now, look at what I had. What's the denominator that you see? This is what I want. So what's missing?
You have to
What
multi-
factor is missing?
Multiply by 3.
The 3. So that means I got to multiply this by 3 and multiply what? That by 3.
24.
So that's 24 here.
And the other one is still 3.
Hold on. Okay, now look at the second denominator. What factor did I have?
3.
3 times x plus 4. What did I want?
Same thing.
Same thing. So that means the numerators are
3.
the same. So that's what I have. Now can I combine them?
You just subtract.
Now can I combine them? That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Yes. The denominators are the same.
21 over.
So that's step 4. So that's 21 divided by 3 times x plus 4. Now remember, step 4 was add, subtract, and simplify. Can I simplify?
Yes.
You could,
Yes.
but
You could, but what?
You don't need to, huh?
Yes, you do.
It's 7 in the
3 and
numerator.
21 I can reduce.
Oh, okay.
7 over 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
1 over, yeah. 7 over 1. I was thinking about factor.
You have to. So that's 1, that's 7. So what's the final answer?
7 over times 3. X
I was thinking along the lines of factoring, not of simplifying.
All right, so that's number 8. Okay. Number 10. Remember, knowing 7-3 will get you through this section. 5 divided by x minus 4 plus 4x divided by x squared minus 16.
Factor
All right, what can you factor?
x squared minus 16.
Okay, at this point, you should be proficient. What is x squared minus 16, real quick? X minus 4, x plus 4. Difference of 2 squares. All right, so the first step was to factor.
You should be proficient
Step
now.
2 is to find the LCD. So what do you think the LCD is?
X minus 4, x plus 4.
Yes. That's your LCD. So again, go through the same process we did before. The first factor you see is x minus 4. There's 1 here. There's how many here?
1.
I need 1. The next factor you see that's different is x plus 4. There's 1 here. There's none here. How many do I need?
1.
1. Okay. What's the next step? Right
Equivalent
equivalent fraction. So right under each of those, you're going to rewrite these with using the LCD. So my LCD is x minus 4, x plus 4, x minus 4, x plus 4. Right? And now that what we're about to do goes back to the previous section. So you're trying to find the numerator now. So this is what I had, x minus 4. What factor is missing that I need?
X plus 4.
X plus 4. So what you need to do, now be careful, right here, don't just do like I just did. Because then you're going to say, well, that's going to be, some of you are probably going to say that's x plus 9. Some of you are going to say that's 5x plus 4. Both of those are incorrect.
Put in parentheses.
Yes, put that in parentheses. Okay? Put that in parentheses. So x plus 4, both terms have to be multiplied by what? 5. So what's going to be this right here?
5 parentheses, x plus 4.
Or just what? 5x plus 20.
Oh.
If you
5x
wanna
plus
break it
20.
down.
Yeah, go at this point, just go ahead and tell me where that polynomial is.
Oh.
Okay?
So you got to use the distributive property.
Yes, you have to use the distributive property here. All right, we use the distributive property. 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 4 is 20. You saw what you had to do, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, here's what I have, here's what I want. Am I missing any factor?
No.
So what's going to be the numerator?
4x.
4x. Okay, so that's where I'm at.
And then,
Okay, now can I combine those two fractions?
yes.
Yes.
9x
9x plus 20.
Y'all agree that's 9x plus 20?
X minus 4, x plus 4.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Over x minus 4,
What's that?
x plus 4. Can I simplify this To simplify this, you want to factor the numerator if you can.
Of course.
Can you factor the numerator?
No.
No, cannot factor the numerator. So that's your answer. That's the answer. All right, so notice all these little steps we went through. Okay, so you factor first, then you find the LCD, then you write equivalent fractions, then you factor the numerator if you can, and then you simplify. Good? All right, so that was 10 right here. All right, let's look at 12. Okay, 12. All right, here's 12. You have 5 divided by y squared minus y divided by 2y plus 1. What was that?
No.
Can you factor? No. All right, so let's talk about the factors. What's the first factor you see that's in the denominator? Y. How many
2.
times does it occur? Twice. Does y occur as a factor down here? No. So how many do I need? No.
Two.
Need 2. So far my LCD has a y squared in it. What's the next factor you see?
2y.
You do, not 2y, dude.
Oh yeah, it's all together. 2y plus
2y plus 1.
1 time.
How many do you see here?
None.
So how many do you need?
1.
All right, so maybe you write them as product. So it's y squared times what? 2y plus 1. So there's your LCD. So the first step was to factor. The next step was to find the LCD, which I didn't need to factor. Then you write equivalent fractions. So you're going to write 2 fractions with that LCD as the denominator.
So you got to change both sides.
All right. Okay, so this is what I had, this is what I want. So what factor is missing right here?
2y plus 1.
All right, so I'm going to say times 2y plus 1 times 2y plus 1. Put that in parentheses.
But pull your page down a little bit.
So what's going to be this numerator? What do y'all think?
5 and then the 2y plus 1.
So what is it when you distribute
10y plus
10y plus 5.
10y plus 5? So distribute. 2y times 5 is 10y. 1 times 5 is 5, right? Okay.
On the other side,
What's missing right here?
the y squared.
Y squared. So you can say times y squared times y squared. So what's this right here?
Is that a y in the front?
Yes.
Y.
No. Hold on. Let me make sure. This was what number? 12? That's a y. So y
Okay,
cubed?
Y cubed. Let's make sure it went for 'em.
Okay. All right. And now you do what? Put them as one fraction.
Yeah.
So is there, when we rise one fraction, this is my denominator. Your denominator is your LCD. So you say 10y plus 5 and then what?
Minus and then parentheses.
You need parentheses, just minus y cubed. Can you combine anything? No. You're done. You can't factor that. Okay, that's all you do there. All right, let's look at this one. So this is going to be 28. You have 7x over x minus 3 minus 4x plus 9 divided by x minus 3.
Okay, so your denominators are the same.
Very good. The denominators are the same.
So we don't have to worry about
You have to find the LCD because it's already the same. So that's the beginning of the previous section.
it. Okay, so then you would just go about business as usual.
So then you're going to go to step 4 now.
Yeah, add subtraction.
Right is one
log.
fraction.
So if you got 7x minus 4x, that would just be 3x plus 9 over x minus.
Nope. You
Nope.
see, that's where you messed up.
Parentheses, man.
You need to put
Ah,
parentheses.
second part.
7x subtract
minus parentheses 4x plus 9.
plus 9. Remember we talked about that. That was the beginning of that section 7.3.
That was why I was saying the parentheses with the y.
So- Yeah, but that was just a monomial. That's why. If it's a binomial, you put parentheses there.
I was just doing that.
So this becomes 7x minus 4x and then what?
Minus 9.
Minus 9 divided by x minus 3. Now what? See, that's 7.3 right here. It's still in 7.4, but it's really 7.3. No, come on, guys. What are you going to do with the numerator?
You're going to
Combine like terms.
So
Oh,
x
okay.
minus 4x is 3x.
So 3x minus 9 over x minus 3.
Then you can factor a 3.
Then you factor out the 3. So that's 3 times what?
X minus 3.
Over,
X minus 3.
then what?
Then you cross out the x minus 3.
Simplify, put what in their places.
So 3 over 1,
What's the answer?
3.
This is 7.3. That's that worksheet that's due Thursday. All right, let's look at this one. Let's do, let's see. All right, this will be 52. 52. All right, 52. All right, 52 you have 2 divided by x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus, this is 50, I'm sorry, I said 52, right? I'm sorry, this is all wrong. That's not 52. 52, 2 divided by x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 1 divided by x plus 2.
Okay.
That's the first step.
Factor
All right, so how do you factor that first denominator?
2 binomials.
What do you think?
X and X. And 2 and 2.
All right. So x plus 2 times x plus 2?
It's good to me.
Okay. What's the LCD?
X plus 2, X plus whatever. X plus 2 squared.
X plus 2 squared, or you can just say x plus 2 times x plus 2. Because if you go through the factors, the first factor you see is x plus 2. There are how many in here, though?
2,
How many in here?
1,
How many you need?
2,
2. The next factor you see is the same, x plus 2. How many are here?
1,
How many are here?
2,
You need how many?
2.
2. But you can say x plus 2 squared. So what's the next step?
You got to write it out as equivalent fractions.
Equivalent fractions. So x plus 2 squared, x plus 2 squared. Or you can just say x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, now let's talk about equivalent fractions. This is what I have, this is what I want.
Right.
So am I missing
You
anything?
already got it.
So what do I put here?
2.
2. This is what I have, this is what I want. Am I missing a factor?
You need a square. X plus 2.
Times, I'm going to do this, times x plus 2, right?
Right.
What I do the denominator, I do to the,
So you got a 1 up there, so you just basically put the X plus 2 down.
so 1 times x plus 2 is
X plus 2.
x plus 2. Okay. Now I can write it as one fraction. Now this you can probably do in your head. What's 2 plus x plus 2?
2.
Well, maybe you can't do it in your head.
2 plus X plus 2?
No, dude.
Wrong. X plus 4.
X plus 4.
Oh, okay.
2 plus x plus 2. Combined like terms, you get x plus 4, right? That's the numerator.
Some shenanigans going back to first grade math and it still must.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
I can't factor anything. Can I reduce anything? Can you reduce anything? Can you simplify?
I don't think so.
What's the
You can
fact?
take out a 2.
No. You can't take out a 2. Well, where would you take out a
I'm just
2?
gonna keep my mouth shut.
Where would
I
you-
tried to say something and then, but no, I ain't saying nothing now.
Well, nobody
I'm
else
not
is saying
sitting there.
anything.
Well, see, if I say something, I'm wrong, and then you're like,
Doesn't-
how can you do this?
Doesn't. Yeah, but you see, when I say that, you're gonna remember that on the test. You know, he yelled at me, so I remember that. So I know that can be it.
Say yes, Drill Sergeant.
So the x plus 4, is there an x plus 4 occurring as a factor down there?
No.
No. So you're done. That's it. This is it. You're done. You can't factor out a 2 because I'm not sure what you're trying to do when you factor out
I
a
was
2.
thinking about the +2 and the +4. Maybe somehow you can factor.
No,
Yeah.
that's not a 2 right
simplify it
here.
or something.
If this is a 2x plus 4, you could factor out a 2.
No.
Here you can't do anything. So that's 52. There's your answer for that one. All right, let's look at, all right, let's do 54. 54. 54. You have this. All right, you have -7 divided by y squared minus 3y plus 2 minus 2 divided by y minus 1.
Alrighty then.
Factor. The only thing you can factor is that first denominator.
So,
Why?
2, 1.
And this cut to
Last
be
sign's positive, so they both have to be what?
-2.
They're both negative.
Yeah.
All right. So now tell me what the LCD is, do you think?
Y minus 2, y minus 1.
Okay. All right, what's the next step?
You write it out, and then do the equivalent fractions.
All right, so my denominator is going to be the
Y minus
LCD.
2, y minus 1. Y minus 2, y minus 1. You multiply
Okay.
y minus 2
Now,
times that.
This is what I have. This is what I want. Am I missing anything?
Y, no, not there.
So what goes here?
-7.
-7. What factor is missing here that I want?
Y minus 2. So you multiply that times both.
So what I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So now rewrite this here. So what's going to be that numerator?
2y minus 4.
2y minus 4. So that's where I'm at. Any questions? Okay, now think about 7.3. The denominators are the same, so I write as one fraction. My denominator is going to be this LCD.
2y minus 11.
Nope.
Oh, you got to do the, okay, you got to do.
So that's -7
7
minus in parentheses.
2y minus 4.
You all agree? That's 7.3. Remember how we did that?
And do the negative.
Then distribute.
Right.
Then distribute. So I get -2y. I'm sorry, let me do it
No.
in steps. -7 minus 2y, and then what? Plus 4.
And then y minus 2, y minus.
And then combined like terms, there's going to be -2y.
Oh, minus 3.
Minus 3 divided by y minus 2, y minus 1.
And
Can it do anything in terms of factoring, and then hopefully I can reduce? The number's already factored, so you just got to look at the numerator. Can I factor the numerator? No. I mean, I can take out a -1, but it's not going to do any good, right?
Sounds good to me.
So that's it. You're done. That's all you do. Okay.
Always try to avoid factors whenever possible.
All right. Now let's look at this one. This is going to be number.
That's a -7 up there.
I know, and it's equal.
Okay, this is going to be number 14. What's the issue?
I was just
He's
looking.
trying to figure out how you.
I was trying to hurry and write everything down, so I was
Uh-huh.
focusing on this as well. It went from -7 minus 2y plus 4
Yes.
to negative 2y minus 3.
Right.
He's asking how you
Yeah,
got
where'd
there.
the
How
negative
you got
7
there.
go?
Negative 7 and a positive 4 is a negative 3.
Okay, that's it.
Combined like
Thank you.
terms. All right, number 14. Okay, now, you got to remember 7.3 with this one as well. 15 divided by y minus 4 plus 20 divided by 4 minus y.
We got a
Opposite.
All right, don't say the LCD is y minus 4 times 4 minus y. That's incorrect. Your least common denominator, you have to know that y minus 4 and 4 minus y are opposites.
So is your
So we kind of had the discussion last time where, and then I think it was Cynthia that mentioned factor out the negative 1. Remember how she wanted to factor out a negative 1?
one that's on either of the sides?
So right here, that 4 minus y, you would say negative 1 times what?
The
Y minus 4. Because negative 1 times y is a
Right.
negative y. Negative 1 times a negative 4 is a positive 4. And that negative 1, see that negative 1? The next thing you want to do here is pull that negative 1 to the numerator. Because remember, we talked about, if you kind of go back and review, what's 6 divided by negative 5? Is 6 divided by negative 5 the same thing as negative 6 divided by 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So all we do is just,
Or
is
negative
just
6/5.
yes, or negative 6/5. What we're doing is just pulling this negative 1 instead of a 20 divided by negative 1, we're saying just what? Negative 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what I have is this. Now I have 15 divided by y minus 4 plus a what?
Negative 20.
Negative 20 divided by
over, y minus 4.
y minus 4. So that's the way you want to write this. So you want your LCD to be y minus 4.
Your Elmo froze up for a minute.
Okay? Now, what is 15 plus a negative 20?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. So what's the answer?
Negative 5 over y minus 4.
That's the answer. Okay? But don't say the LCD is y minus 4 times 4 minus y. That's not the least common denominator. That is a common denominator, but not the least. You need to be using the least here. Okay, so don't forget about the opposites. So let's do another one with the opposites. See what you can do with it. Let me find one.
There's the Elmo.
All right, here's one. This is going to be number 40. Let's look at number 40. Okay, that's one with opposites. You have 10 divided by 3n minus 4 minus 5 divided by 4 minus 3n.
That's an opposite.
Okay, don't say the LCD is 3n minus 4 times 4 minus 3n. You're going to be very upset when you don't get all your points.
10 over 3n minus 4 minus negative 5 over 3n minus 4.
Okay, so what's the first thing you're going to do?
Do the
You
opposite.
can
Take one of the denominators and do
just
what?
Factor the negative.
Factor out a negative 1. Let's just do this one here. So you're going to say negative 1 times what?
3n minus 4.
Y'all agree? Because negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3n. Negative 1 times a negative 4 is a positive 4.
Then
Now,
send your next
once you write this, circle that negative 1 and then
Set it up top.
bring it over here. Okay? So what I have is this now. I have 10 divided by 3n minus 4. Subtract, and the 5 becomes a what?
Negative 5.
Negative 5 divided by
3n minus
3n
4.
minus 4. Is y'all okay with that part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me know if you don't see anything, because that's on that worksheet. Now, can I combine this as one fraction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's 10 subtract a negative 5 the same as?
10 plus
10
5.
plus 5, which is what?
15.
Okay, so what's the answer?
15 over 3n minus 4.
All right, that's it. That's your answer. Okay? All right, so what I want you to do there on this worksheet A, which I want turned in Thursday, let you start right now. There are 5 problems. So help each other. One of those has opposites in it, so I want you to use the same process we did. Remember, it says show work. So you can do this. And on the study guide, how many are questions on the test from this?
It wasn't very many.
What does study guide say? One or two problems?
I gotta go find it.
One?
7.4, one problem like 2 to 5.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So I'm gonna turn on the lights. Now here's where we had it. We're gonna so Thursday we're gonna finish 7.4, and you need to be able to, you see, all the sections build upon each other. So in order to do 7.4, you have to be able to do, I'm sorry, in order to do 7.5, you have to be able to do 7.4.
Mm-hmm.
Because 7.5 is where you have rational equations. You got to multiply both sides by the LCD and all that. So, and then once we get in November, we're going to kind of alternate between finishing chapter 7 and then chapter, I think it's 10. No, yeah, 10. 10 is the one where you start talking about square roots and all that. So we're going to alternate because I'm trying to get in as much of those two chapters as possible in the time we have left. Okay. So we're going to see that happening in November, where part of the period is going to be trying to finish up chapter 7, and then the other part of the period is working with chapter 10. Okay, so what you do now, the time we have left, you're going to do this in class. You're going to do this in class because this is due Thursday, because it's on your test. How many questions are on your test from this section?
1.
Part A, 1.
Between number 2 and 5.
So turn on the light. So work with each other.
Work with me now.
Feel so accomplished getting a paper and then turning it right back in before class is over.
Okay, all of you turned in the
Homework.
homework. Okay, here are the keys. So these are the keys to part A and B. So here's part B, and this is part A.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
And
Now we have one more.
okay,
It's on one more.
Okay, so
there's only one. of
question
this.
number 1. Can you factor?
She didn't give one down.
Oh. Okay,
There's eight.
you go. Thank you. All right. So, and here are the notes from last class period. So take one, pass those back.
I don't believe.
I don't think so either. Okay, so what's on the denominator? You got an 8, 10. So 80.
Okay, these are the notes right here from last class period.
Would that be the, well, there's one of them I already gave you, the other one's coming around.
The notes?
No,
No, we got keys. I thought you
Keys.
said there were the notes from last class.
Being passed around.
I still need the key for B.
Yeah, that's probably coming up.
That's the notes. Who's got the,
Okay, here's
who's got the
A.
key, who's got the key for B?
Who needs the key for part A? All right, where's part B?
You got lost somewhere along the way.
It might be right here. Where's part B? Okay, everyone has the notes. I'm gonna throw these away.
Oh, I'll take 2 for Tally, so she can have them.
Anyone else needs the notes?
Owen for.
Okay, so on this first one, let's go back to work.
We have 2 more keys, Professor, I'm sorry. I'm trying to at least make sure.
Part A and B. What are you
Both
missing?
keys.
I just said B's behind him.
For Tally, I'm getting a copy of,
Oh,
stuff for her. I just need, part A's key.
hold on.
Thank you.
All right, so back to this
All right.
LCD for these first ones. A, right?
That's what I think.
So A, and then, you got an X on this
Oh, no, I
side,
have my own
we got
stuff right
one,
here.
2 on that side, so we
Thank
need
you.
2. So 80X squared.